My first impression to the Charlene is she is young and energetic. 我本来会讲，我还不知道你年龄之前。
可以，我无所谓。
Hi, I'm Justin.
Hi, I'm Peilin.
Hi everyone, I'm Charlene. So my first impression of Justin is actually he has a very simple yet sophisticated aura. So he has this kind of chic vibe that's coming from him.
My first impression to the Charlene is she is young and energetic. 我本来会讲，我还不知道你年龄之前。
可以，我无所谓。
So my impression of Peilin is fun and outgoing. Meeting her for the first time when I heard her talking to everybody, it just feels like somebody who I feel will be very fun to have around.
Fun fact about myself is I'm actually a geographer. So I majored in geography when I was in uni, and then I only jumped into interior designing much later. So this is actually my second job. Why it's a fun fact is because I'm a geographer, so I actually get to know more about stones and materials, and I can actually apply that to my job in interior design.
For the fun fact of myself is I love to eat. For a good food restaurant, they also have a good interior design that also is part linked to my current industry.
Yeah, I also always have this problem. Every time I go and eat, I'll be touching, looking.
Wondering what material that is.
Yes.
Before I was an interior designer, I used to run a salad restaurant. Back then, we had no money to hire interior designers, so I did the design, project management, everything by myself. There was a very strong sense of satisfaction when I saw the restaurant itself coming out exactly how I wanted it to be. Naturally, I end up in this industry.
What attracted me to interior design was actually two things. First thing was actually my love for computer games. So games like The Sims, City Skylines. Second reason is shit, I forgot my second reason. The second reason was actually born from my frustration of renovating my own home. So basically, my mom actually engaged this contractor who actually asked us about what we wanted in the home and how we wanted the design to be like. And after everything was said and done and the renovation was over, I actually found out that my home wasn't exactly what I thought it to be. What motivates me is actually I want to prevent that from happening with my clients. And I want to save them from this same frustration that bothered me for years on end until I actually managed to renovate my house.
For me, I've been introduced to this industry through my sister and brother-in-law. I feel it's a really fun job to work with because we meet a lot of people, not even like homeowners. We deal with a lot of contractors, suppliers.
I think what got me into this industry was, I think, similar to my colleagues. The idea that you can turn something from a design into reality. I had a taste of that during my own restaurant days, so because of that, I decided to step foot into this industry, and ever since then, there's no turning back. If my customer is watching, please remember to write a review for me.
So I think basically the most important thing is about knowing what the clients want. And then even if they don't know what kind of style they like, but there are always certain things that they gravitate to. So maybe they prefer more warmer tones in their house, or they prefer something with bright lighting, or maybe they want something sleek. So depending on what they want, usually I will recommend or show them photos. After knowing what they want, I think a lot of research goes into it. So usually we'll go online, look at different source materials, and then trying to put all the ideas together to present something to them.
For me, I think the most important thing would be the first meeting. So we actually sit down to discuss our requirements, and on top of that, it's more about understanding the lifestyle. Through there, from the preferences, I will use probably some visualization tools, things like mood board. At times, I do hand sketch. This is to ensure that you fully understand that based on your customer's requirement, this is something that you conceptualize.
For me, I will save a lot of nice interior design pictures. The pictures can let owner do more visualizations rather than just talking to them and explain to them.
Yeah, so actually I'll be collecting my keys really soon, my own house. Of course, I'll be the ID for my house. I think one of the key things I don't like about most of the apartments in Singapore is the very usual kind of layouts. So for me, I'm going to start by hacking down whatever I can hack. The sad thing about Singapore is probably the windows. I think BTO windows are not very aesthetically pleasing. If I could change that, first thing that I will remove will be all the windows, and then it will all be changed to full length, big open windows.
Because in Singapore, mostly are imported materials, so I really like natural marbles natural wood, which I feel if I have the budget and I have a lot of maid to help me to clean the home. Yeah.
I actually want a very organic kind of home, something that is more natural. I would say it's more of an organic modern style with a lot of bright light and a lot of glass, especially if full-length windows. I think I would like a skylight as well, so I can admire the stars at night.
Skylights.
I just completed a house a few months ago. For that house, I will feel like the unique part is I add in a lot of beading on the wall to differentiate the foyer and the dining area with some wood strip, which I found is quite different from usual design.
It's actually the current house that I'm doing. It has this feature wall that uses the Italian plastering technique. So it actually has a very aesthetically looking spiral design, and then they actually coated it with foil to give it that special shine.
For my project, one of it was a modern farmhouse theme. For myself, if I can change certain form of architectural elements, so I added wooden cladded beams onto the ceiling to create that actual modern farmhouse look, even though you know that in local houses we do not have that kind of beam.
Coming into ID was actually a mid-career switch. I was actually a teacher before this, so the learning curve was very steep. This industry, the techniques are always changing, things are always being updated. I think it's very important to actually listen and learn. One is lots of research, and then the other one is lots of learning, and the last one is actually to keep an open mind. So I think that's what helps you stay in this industry.
I think end of the day, whatever they taught you in design school is probably not gonna be fully applicable. It's a lot about experiencing it firsthand.
Working on my own or a team, which one do I prefer? Neither one also can. But then if you really ask me, then I'll prefer to work on my own, because to work with other ID, maybe they might have some idea which clash on my ideas.
Most interesting encounter is also one of the most recent encounters. So this client of mine actually, she wants an industrial theme, but she says she didn't want a brick feature wall or anything brick related or those industrial theme. But when I actually proposed my design to her, I actually included a brick feature wall for her kitchen, which she was actually very excited to have that in her kitchen. Why she didn't want that was because she didn't want to clean it, because it was very hard to maintain. So what I suggested was actually have that brick feature wall, but then layer over it with glass.
Challenge I might have to face if this is a reality. If I were to stick with one design style, my preference has always been things aligned with minimalist. I would say modern minimalist. I guess if I have to stick to one, that would be the one. Thank you for watching.
Like and subscribe.
And stay tuned for our next series.